Delegate Anderson, you have House Bill 551.
Hello, Madam Chair and committee members. I do have an amendment before you that I would move to report or move to amend.
So moved. Moved and seconded to adopt the amendment. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, the amendment's before us. You have the floor, Delegate.
Thank you so much. I know everyone keeps telling me don't fall in love with your bills. We're just dating, but I'm really excited about this bill, so I'm excited to share it with you. HB551 is really a simple workforce bill. Right now, we have incredible frameworks around our community college systems. We have incredible frameworks around our apprenticeship programs, but we do not have anything around our private trades. This bill basically creates a clear pathway for non-degree workforce training programs through Virginia Works and under the Department of Labor using labor-aligned standards around safety, hands-on training, and real job readiness. Today, there's very little consistency or oversight for private trade, which means students and employers don't always know which programs meet real-world workforce expectations. This bill helps fix that by setting a floor for quality and accountability. Just as important, HB 551 does not interfere with the current community college system or their funding, as well as the apprenticeship programs and their Pels. This bill simply addresses the gap for those pathways, helping more Virginians enter the workforce in demand fields, both growing our economy in the process and ensuring workers have the necessary skills they need to be successful. I also want to just highlight there's an estimation of about 160 private trades that currently exist in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Probably less than 10 of those meet what we call the ONET standards, which is what this bill is trying to put in place, meaning that we're trying to set a tone of if you meet these standards, you are this, highest, state recognized institution. And we want to create that standard so that these other institutions that have not reached beyond where they are right now to exceed to the ONET standards, we'll do that. So I hope it's the will of the body to, pass this bill.
Thank you so much, Delegate. Are there any questions from the committee before we turn to the public? All right, no one has touched their request to speak button, so I will go ahead and ask at this time if there is anyone here in the audience who would like to come forward to speak in favor of the bill.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair.
Is everyone standing up going to speak in favor of the bill? I just want to get a sense of a timer.
They all have 30 seconds.
Okay,
so,
which is amazing. I was going to say we want to put a 5-minute timer on because if this, that might not even be enough.
They are all ready to go really short.
So, okay, amazing. I mean, we want to hear from you. This is very important, so I don't want to limit you. But yes, if
line up.
So let's put a 5-minute timer on it and see where we're at. I'm not going to make anybody go sit down if you haven't had a chance to be heard, but we'll see how that goes. So just consider that there's someone behind you. But And try not to repeat someone else's testimony. If it's something new, we love to hear it. But now I'm taking up your time, but not your time.
We planned for that too, Madam Chair.
And you guys are amazing. All right, so we'll go ahead and start. But please, you have
Madam
the floor.
Chair and members of the committee, good afternoon. My name is Chris Davidson with Orca Strategies on behalf of the Peninsula Chamber of Commerce and on behalf of our member, Virginia Technical Academy, the owner of which you're actually going to hear from very shortly, Mr. David Gillespie. So he's the one that brought the idea to us at the Chamber, and we loved the idea because there is a whole wonderful system in skilled trades training under the purview of Virginia Community College System. It's awesome. There's also great training and great programs run by organized labor here. And this bill touches none of that. This specifically targets those who are private trade schools that are privately owned businesses, small businesses like Mr. Gillespie's here, very few of whom actually subscribe to a standard high enough to meet the ability to take those students who can come in on the GI Bill, a very high federal standard, which Virginia Technical Academy does. The problem is that there is no recognition pathway to put kind of the weight and force and approval of the Commonwealth on what that trade school does in the private sector, right? So because of that, we're suggesting that there should be a pathway of recognition from the Virginia Works, from the Department of Labor, that outlines that this is a standard that if we have a private trade school meets that, then we put a stamp of approval that makes the sheet of paper that they walk out with worth more. Because right now, anybody can just set up a private trade school and call it a trade school and walk out with a sheet of paper with no standard. That's right, yeah. So anyway, so this is the standard that we're looking to set, and we do hope that you consider this bill and pass it through. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Madam Chairman and the committee, my name is David Gillespie. I am the president and founder of Virginia Technical Academy School and a U.S. Coast Guard veteran. We don't have a clear, enforceable way of recognizing legitimate trade schools and train people for real jobs. HB551 fixes that. This bill creates a second legitimate recognition pathway for trade schools under the Secretary of Labor. Separate from the academic systems, the ideal is straightforward. If a trade school meets clear workforce and safety standards set by the labor, it should be recognized as a legitimate trade school. Right now, the trade schools are judged through academic systems designed for college degrees, not for hands-on training job base. It also creates a real pathway for people often left behind, adults without a diploma, students, veterans, career changers, people who learn best by doing it. This is not about lowering standards, it is about the right standards for the right kind of training. I ask you to support HB 551 and give Virginians a fair, clear pathway into the skilled trades. Thank you for your time and service.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the committee. Andrew Sinclair on behalf of the Virginia Chamber of Commerce. We appreciate the patron bringing this bill. Blueprint Virginia 2035 identified the need for additional and enhanced career pathways, particularly for the trade. And for that reason, we hope you support the bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Madam Chairwoman and members of the committee. My name is Amir Langley, and I am the Program Director for Youth Bill, which is a Newport News Department of Labor grant out of there. And I am pledging my support for HB 551 because it directly impacts the opportunities our students have access to in the trades industry. Our students have directly benefited from the pathways set at VTA Academy. Passing this legislation will effectively open doors for those who have historically been shut out and those who have path has changed due to circumstance. I ask that you consider this bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Frances Falcone, and I am the manager and career coach at Literacy for Life. It is a literacy organization that helps our underserved and untapped immigrants become better at language, reading, writing, and the such. I've had the opportunity to work with VTA. Our students have come to us for English help, and I just want to tell you about one of our folks here that has come through, had English help from us. VTA met them where they were because they were able to study and do things differently than the community college does. He would have never had that opportunity through there. He has completed the program and is now an electrician apprentice. I'd like to have that opportunity available for more people. And so this bill really is about giving another opportunity for people to meet them where they are. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I know that I'm not going to stop anyone. I wanted to kind of just gauge what 5 minutes got us, just because I am trying to balance that we have another committee that has a very full docket after us. But all of you, I see you've got notes and you've prepared and planned for this. So I want to make sure that you do all have a chance to be heard. So we can put another 5 minutes on. I don't think we're going to take that much time, but just so we can have a bit of a sense of the clock running down and try to be mindful of the people behind you. I want, again, to balance between getting all of you heard, but also recognizing that the next committee is like, when are they going to be done? Because we've got like 30 bills. So with that, please proceed.
Madam Chair and members of the committee, my name is Joel Gillespie from Stafford County. HB 551 recognizes that ability isn't defined by a diploma. By recognizing trade schools through labor standards, Virginia gives hands-on learners and non-traditional students a real, respected pathway into the workforce. I support HB 551. Thank you.
Thank you.
Greetings, Madam Chair and House Committee. Virginia needs two equal pathways, colleges and labor-accredited trade schools. Not every career needs a degree, but every career needs standards. Trade schools prepare people for labor-based work, so the standards that judge them should come from labor, not academics. Labor accreditation focuses on what employers actually care about: hands-on skills, safety qualified instructors, and accountability. Without it, credentials don't consistently mean job ready. When the Secretary of Labor accredits trade schools, it gives the trades real legitimacy and gives employers confidence that training meets workforce standards. HB 551 doesn't replace colleges or apprenticeship. It raises the floor, closes the gap between apprenticeship, and gives people a legitimate skill-based path into trades. As a second grade Title I educator in Norfolk, Virginia, and licensed general contractor, I support HB 551.
Hello, Madam Chair. I'm Matthew White-Cotton, and I support HB 551.
Thank you.
Madam Chair and members, my name is Nick Mobley. I've been a trade school instructor in Newport News for about 5 years now. I've watched thousands of students come through our program. Each works just as hard as a student pursuing a collegiate degree or other education. For that reason, I support HB 551.
Thank you.
Madam Chair and members of the committee, my name is Angela Formica, and I am an admissions representative at Virginia Technical Academy. Many students come to Virginia Technical Academy with an education from another trade school, but admit they did not retain the knowledge, have a chance to practice with relevant equipment, or have success finding jobs. I have no doubt that HB 511 will deliver meaningful results and allow all of Virginia's schools to uphold the highest standards of integrity and excellence. I encourage your full support of this bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Madam Chair and members of the committee, my name is William Mitchum. I'm an instructor for Virginia Technical Academy. And HB 551 is about access without lowering standards. The bill creates two equal pathways for academic education and labor accredited trade schools for workforce readiness. I support HB 551.
Madam Chair and members of the committee, HB 551 doesn't replace colleges or apprenticeship. It raises the floor, closes the gap before apprenticeship, and gives people legitimate skill-based path into the trades. I support HB 551.
Madam Chair, committee, Ryan Burgess, Williamsburg. Everything everybody said is correct. In addition to that, this is also, to my understanding, this will be the first, if you guys get this through, Virginia will be the first to actually do something like this. So that could potentially lead the way for the entire country to adopt something like this. So just food for thought.
Madam Chair and committee members, my name is John Ezra Musey III. I'm reside in Yorktown, Virginia, and HB 551 recognizes the ability. It in itself is not identified by a diploma alone. By accrediting trade schools through labor standards, Virginia gives hands-on learners and non-traditional students a real respected pathway into the workforce. Please support 551 as I do myself. Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, I'm Robert Dilby from Hampton. If 12 years in the Air Force taught me anything, it's the importance of standards. If there's a right way to do something and it matters, you better define what right looks like. One of the big frustrations I had when transitioning to the skilled trades was finding a credible trade school without any standards to go by. Is this place going to teach me the skills I'm actually looking to learn, or are they going to plop me in front of a YouTube video and say, hey, you're certified with a piece of paper? To that end, this bill makes straightforward sense. There's a right way to do it by straight standards. Helps us trust things, and there's a right, and it lets us know what right looks like. Thank you for your time.
Microphone is on. No, come on up.
Members of the committee, my name is Alex Meyer. I'm an HVAC service technician of 11 years, now a trainer. I full-heartedly believe with their process, their hands-on capabilities, teaching codes, they will teach the next generations the right way how to do this. I fully support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Madam Chair. My name is Emma Krebs, and I support HB 551 because it opens the door for hands-on learners and non-traditional students by creating labor-accredited trade schools focused on skills, safety, and job readiness, not academic gatekeeping. And that is why I support HB 551.
Great. Thank you.
Because my voice is loud. So. Good afternoon, Madam Chairman and members of the House. My name is Mr. George Bray Raspberry IV. I'm a licensed master plumber and HVAC technician and workforce educator in Virginia, Commonwealth, Virginia. I strongly support this bill, HB 551. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Madam Chair and members of the committee. Thank you so much for the extra time. We really appreciate this. So I'm going to go a little bit differently. My name is Todd Carter. I'm an instructor at Virginia Technical Academy. I'm also an HVAC contractor. In our modern world of digital connectivity, data-driven systems, virtual relationships, and electronic systems, let us not forget the physical infrastructure that is required to support this world we live in. Who builds the data centers? Who assembles these wind turbines? Who fixes the power lines when storms wreak havoc? When everyone was in lockdown during the pandemic, plumbers, electricians, HVAC techs were out making repairs so that you could stay safe and comfortable in your homes. Throughout our history, it has been hardworking hands that have kept America running strong. Ironworkers in the early 20th century scaled steel columns and beams hundreds of feet in the air to build America's first skyscrapers, and without safety harnesses, no less, relying only on their skill and balance. To pull America out of the Great Depression, the Works Progress Administration, or WPA, as it is better known, was created to provide jobs for millions of unemployed and to stimulate the economy. This work program also helped preserve craftsmanship and skills and restored self-respect through useful work rather than handouts. WPA built public infrastructure, roads, bridges, parks, schools, hospitals, airports, and much more. The hands of stonemasons, carpenters, electricians, builders, plumbers worked to build up this nation, to lift it out of the economic despair. Let us respect these workers in the past and present. They are a big part of what makes America strong. They are a big part of America's workforce. Let's support them. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, Carter T. Whitelow, representing the Heavy Construction Contractors Association. If we get 10 minutes with all these people that showed up here today to tell you how important this is, I can say enough about that. The industry is facing a serious shortage with skilled trades workers, and this is an opportunity for us to show our high school students that you don't have to go to four-year college. You can make a good living and do something great for America and our Commonwealth just by getting a skilled trade degree. So I hope you support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, Chris Bailey, on behalf of the Virginia Association for Career and Technical Education, we support the bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, committee, it appears that I'm last. My name's Randy Franklin, and I just asked you to consider what would you want coming into your house? Someone that has a standard to come in there and fix any issues you might have, or someone who's simply going to come changing parts until they finally find the right parts? By passing this bill, we will have that standard where they will be able to come in there and diagnose what the actual issues are, therefore saving each homeowner money and valuable time. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, well, I appreciate you all traveling here today, so I'm glad we had the opportunity to hear from you all today, because I know you came and wanted to speak, and so I wanted to make sure everybody had the chance. So I'm glad for you being here. At this time, I will hear if there is anyone in the room who would like to speak in opposition to the bill to please come forward. And we will also start the timer at 5 minutes, but there's less people, but
Madam Chair,
equitable.
Brett Vassy, I'm President and CEO of the Virginia Manufacturers Association. We also are a workforce training provider. We run the Virginia Manufacturing Skills Institute. We, last year alone, registered over 800 apprentices, and we trained over 500 individuals using our industry credentials and our industry credentialing system, and we are a credentialing organization through our institute. We don't disagree that the idea of training more people is important and engaging the private sector is critical. However, that's not what this bill does. This bill creates an entirely new system of government accreditation when you look at private workforce training systems. Not all industry credentials are the same, and you can't create one single overlay on all of them. And I'll draw your attention why this is important. If you look on specifically on this bill, toward the end, there is a set of requirements on what the minimum standards are. And item 2 is 40% of the total instructional hours is hands-on laboratory and tool time. Ladies and gentlemen, this bill is not just skilled trades. This is all 100 plus occupations that are in the industrial space, plus everything in the construction trades. This is a really broad brush, and 40% hands-on tool time is absolutely not necessary in every single occupation. We have a credential that we can take people in 12 weeks using simulations and modified technology, and we can take them from limited skills to full manufacturing technicians, going from about $27,000 with part-time employment to almost $50,000 in full benefits. And we've been doing this for years, and that's just one training program that's used by over 20 community colleges and 80 high schools. Madam Chair, I would think that this bill is a good idea. It needs a lot of work. There's certainly an opportunity for us to talk about how to incentivize private industry. We have never come here and asked for you to hand out to us, but there may be an opportunity in the future for you to look at all nonprofit and all for-profit institutions. But this bill, at right this point, we cannot support because you're creating an entirely new system.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, Greg Ackerman with the DC Metro Building Trades Council. First of all, I want to apologize to the patron. Did not get a chance to speak to her about this bill beforehand. But on behalf of the 28 construction trade unions in our region, we strongly believe there already is a process for getting people into good paying careers, and that's through registered apprenticeship. And those registered apprenticeship standards have been around for many, many decades, and they're heavily regulated by the federal government. And they're done so in order to not subsidize employers that don't want to provide good on-the-job training and high standards of workforce development. And so what our concern about this bill is that it creates a process whereby employers and workforce agencies and workforce associations that don't want to follow those high standards are able to both get accredited and also, be preferenced and have a pathway to get federal and state funding. And so we very much agree with the sentiments that are expressed and want to, encourage people to get into these high quality workforce development programs and want to make sure we continue to hold to a high standard the workforce development programs that exist in the Commonwealth. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, Michelle Satterlin on behalf of the Virginia Foundation for Community College Education. I want to first thank the patron. She has been wonderful about meeting with us and hearing our concerns. We applaud her passion. We too agree that this is well-intentioned, but for the reasons already stated, we have multiple concerns with the structure that this puts in place. It's a great idea, but we think the bill needs further vetting. The community colleges would like to be at the table as we look at this matter. And so what I'd like to suggest, if there's a way to keep the conversation going, it's an important conversation, but put the brakes on it a bit so we can make sure that all the stakeholders are around the table and have their input heard on how this is developed. Thank you.
Thank you. Delegate Delegate Guzman, I know there is someone still to speak online, so I don't want to completely cut testimony short unless your question is for someone in the room now, or is your question for someone in the room now, or should I take the rest of the testimony first? Okay, all right. I'm going to go ahead and turn online at this point, and then we'll take questions. But if it was for a witness, then I'd want to go ahead and get that before they walk too far to the back of the room. But turning online, I believe we have a couple people registered, but it looks like one online. Is it Mr. Ellen Silver online? If you would go ahead and come off of mute and share your testimony, please. And we'll put the timer on 1 minute if you don't mind.
Okay, thank you very much. Madam Chair and subcommittee members, my name is Alan Silver. I'm a graduate of the United States Naval Academy and a Cold War era submarine veteran. For the past 37 years, I've been associated with manufacturing operations throughout the United States. The past 4 years, I've been the Director of Business Development of a large industrial contractor in Oilville, Virginia, and in the Carolinas. Virginia presently is the 12th largest state by population with a manufacturing GDP in the top 20 of states in the U.S., and an unemployment rate of 3.6%, very low. As the population in Virginia and the U.S. continues to grow, the need for more food, pharmaceuticals, chemicals, medical facilities, energy, etc. continues to grow with it. To build, maintain, and operate these manufacturing plants that are and will be required in Virginia and the U.S., the skilled trades are needed now more than ever. There has never been a time in the industries that we serve where skilled labor is more needed. Electricians, welders, pipe fitters, boiler makers, woodworkers, HVAC technicians, and technicians of all kinds. This bill is establishing a minimum standard and removing barriers that allow our young men and women to obtain skills needed by industry. It will afford those men and women the promise of the American dream and provide improved manufacturing GDP with added tax revenues that go with it. Please support this bill. Obviously, there's some opposition to it. The problem is we need people now. When I left my last position, I had 40 job openings that I could not fill. So I had people working 25, 35% overtime, and things like that. So this bill is really establishing some minimum standards. Obviously, the programs that are in place now, if they were working as well as they should, we'd have the people, and unfortunately we don't. So I would say support this bill. You're voting yay for the future of Virginia, the future of the young women of Virginia, and the manufacturing strength of the United States.
Thank you.
So thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Madam Chair.
So I have got a question. I'll give you a chance to respond to what we heard, but I do have a question. If Mr. Ackerman, could you come back up? I'd like to ask if the concerns that you have are, I know the patron's been working with everybody, really trying to thread the needle on this. Are these concerns that you think that if we took a little bit more time with this, that they could be addressed, or do you feel like this is a bigger change than a this week kind of problem?
Madam Chair, I want to address the points he actually made, though, because those amendments have already been made. There's absolutely no funding formula within this bill or pathway, and we also no longer use the word accreditation in this bill because we do not believe we want to have the overlap of the existing accredited programs and apprenticeships. So to be clear, the most recent amendments that are in front of you, there is no pathway for them to access funds such as Fast Forward that are through Virginia Community College systems. There's no way for them to access workforce Pels that are accessible and available to apprenticeships. This is quite literally a bill to create a framework around the private trade sector so that we do have a standard for said trades. And to be clear, I'm very open, but I just want to make sure that is clarified.
For sure. And so I just kind of wanted to gauge with where this bill is now with your concerns. If you're seeing this, are we close, or do you feel like there's bigger concerns that would need more time?
I would love to work with the patron to consider this going forward. I think our concerns they do go beyond just funding of workforce programs. There are multiple there are multiple benefits for contractors that have quote unquote workforce programs or participants in workforce programs, whether that's being able to pay on the job training participants less because they're in some sort of quasi-registered program, or being able to fulfill various different public works requirements that are associated with participating in workforce programs, or economic development requirements that require developers to hire certain numbers of participants in those programs. And it would be our strong preference to keep the standards for those programs high that include things like on-the-job training, folks being able to make a minimum percentage of what a journey person makes, as well as guaranteed pay raises. I think typically how some of these programs have been conceived in other contexts have been by creating a construction industry exemption, by recognizing that construction industry registered apprenticeship is a model that should be replicated, whether you're talking about union programs or non-union programs. Okay. But would be happy to work with the patron going forward.
Thank you. And so I'll turn to the committee, but do you want to know? We do have. This is a subcommittee. We'll have time before this goes to full. Obviously, the committee will consider everything you've heard today. And then if this bill does report, it would need to go to appropriations. So there is some opportunity to see if it is possible to get to agreement and resolution among those who are kind of, I think, wanting similar things, but maybe in different places right now. Are there any other questions from the committee at this time?
Madam Chair, just a follow-up for Mr. Ackerman.
You have the floor.
So just to follow up to what Madam Chair asked, would that be so I appreciate that you're going to work with the patron, but is that something you could do in this time frame, or would that be something you'd have to do over the year?
I think, especially given the fact that I'm coming here last minute, I'd be happy to do so. Over the next couple week or so before if it potentially goes to appropriations. So.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions from? Okay, I keep seeing names pop up and then drop off. If you guys want to talk, push your button and keep it there. All right, Delegate Carlson.
No, Chair Delaney, if the time was right, I was ready to make a motion.
Okay, I'll let you have the final word, Delegate, and then we'll
Absolutely.
just because there was a lot of conversation, so I want to make sure you have the last minute or so to just put a fine or
Thank
two
you for your
note on it.
time, because I know quite a few people came today and we're very excited about this bill. And I would just simply say, at the end of the day, I'm really excited that other partners want to work on and make sure that we're getting this right. This bill does set a standard. It's the ONET standard, and so that's kind of the goal. But I do hope that it's able to report and go to appropriations so that we can keep having this conversation.
Okay, Delegate Carlson.
Chair Delaney, I would move that we report with substitute and refer to appropriations.
It's with amendments and refer to appropriations. That's been seconded. The clerk will open the roll. Oh, it is with substitute? Okay, we're hearing from council that it is with substitute. So the original motion, report with substitute and refer to appropriations, that was seconded, and the clerk will open the roll. All right, and the clerk will close the roll, and the bill reports and is referred to appropriation 6-3. You'll have some time to kind of work on it, and hopefully we'll get there.
Thank you.